In the beginning, Aznavour didn't look like someone destined for stardom. Too short, too big a nose, awkward on stage. He seemed almost like a parody of a French singer. But Paris saw him grow up, and slowly his talent came alive. And when we say Charles Aznavour, we don't think of those old jokes anymore. We remember his eyes, warm, sharp, a little ironic, and that voice, romantic, melancholic, yet somehow full of fragile joy. The French know his songs by heart. They pass them down to their children, because Aznavour became not just a singer, but a symbol of Paris, of France, and of resilience. Two quotes show how far he came. The first was from a critic mocking him. With a voice and a face like that, he doesn't belong on stage. The last, decades later, was from the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, calling him a national treasure. Between those words, 80 years of career. How did he go from ridicule to glory? Aznavour himself gave the answer, "I come from a people who didn't live, but survived. I love life, and I will love it until the end." He was born in Paris on May 22, 1924, in a poor immigrant neighborhood. His father, Mamikon, or Michel as everyone called him, ran a small restaurant that smelled of grilled meat, spices, and dreams of a better life. His mother, Nar, her name meant lyre in Armenian, loved theater and music. His sister Ida sang as well. Their family name, Aznavourian, was eventually shortened to Aznavour, easier to pronounce in Paris, less foreign. His parents were stateless refugees. Charles was the only one born French. Money was always tight. Sometimes he left school to help in the restaurant, sometimes he had to hide when the police came, but hardships toughened him. His very first stage was the family restaurant where he recited poetry, sang, or played the violin for tired diners. That's where he decided, "I will be an artist." Then came the war. Nazi-occupied Paris. The Aznavour family hid Jews and helped the resistance. It was dangerous, but it left a mark on Charles. The belief that dignity mattered more than fear. After the war, Paris was alive with cabarets, smoke, cheap wine, and hope. Charles performed with Pierre Roche in a duo called Roche et Aznavour. Roche had the strong, smooth voice. Aznavour was still searching for his, but he was already writing songs, small, honest stories about love, humor, and heartbreak. And then one night, everything changed. Edith Piaf walked into a little cabaret just looking for a glass of wine. She stayed. His songs caught her attention. By morning, she offered to take him on tour, later, even to America. "She saw in me what I hadn't seen in myself yet," Aznavour said. From her he learned how to interpret a song, how to turn lyrics into living stories. "Every text has its own melody," Piaf used to tell him. Their relationship was close, intense, sometimes stormy, but never romantic, as he insisted all his life. He supported her through tragedies, and she shaped him into an artist. Eventually, he had to leave her side, step out of her shadow, and try to stand on his own. It was rough. Without Piaf, many doors closed, contracts disappeared, shows were canceled. For a year he played in tiny clubs, nearly broke, almost forgotten. But that's where he found his unique voice, fragile but never weak, as if always on the edge of breaking, yet more human for it. Jean Cocteau put it perfectly. Before Aznavour, despair was not fashionable. Then came the breakthrough, the Olympia, big tours, the first hits. Sur ma vie, je me voyais déjà, La Bohème, Hier encore, Emmenez-moi, songs that became part of French culture forever. Over his life, he wrote more than 1,000 songs, in French, Armenian, English, Italian, Spanish, Russian. His voice wasn't about power, it was about truth, about living inside the words. In the 60s, he shocked audiences with Comme il descend, a song about a gay man, sung with empathy, without judgment. At that time, it was a bold act. For Aznavour, though, it was simple. Freedom meant being yourself, with dignity. He also became a film actor. François Truffaut cast him in Shoot the Piano Player, a defining role of the French New Wave. For decades, he also filmed his own life with the camera Piaf had given him, later turned into the documentary Le Regard de Charles. His private life had its ups and downs. 3 marriages, the first, youthful and fragile. The second, full of ambition and jealousy. The third, the one that lasted, with Ulla Thorsel, a Swedish model who gave him balance and peace. With her, he finally found stability. Together they raised 3 children and spent over 50 years as a couple. But Aznavour's heart also belonged to Armenia. After the 1988 earthquake devastated the country, he organized one of the biggest charity songs in French history, Pour toi Arménie, with around 90 singers and actors. The single sold over 1 million copies, and the money went to relief efforts. He founded Aznavour for Armenia, later became Armenia's ambassador to Switzerland and its delegate to the UN. "I'm 100% French and 100% Armenian," he said. "I just have 2 hearts in one chest." By the 1990s, he was already a legend. His songs were in school books, his duets with international stars filled stadiums. But he remained the same, not flashy, not showy, just a man telling stories with his voice. He worked until the very end. When his wife once gently asked if it wasn't time to slow down, he answered, "Either I sing or I die." At 94, he was still planning concerts, including one in Kyiv. But on October 1st, 2018, he passed away. Exactly as he had lived, at the top, still full of plans, still singing. Aznavour's life is a lesson. At first, genius and failure look the same. Both go against the grain. The difference is whether you can keep going until time finally shifts. He did. Not because he was fearless, but because he loved life. All of it. With its losses, mistakes, joys, and hopes. And that's why his voice, fragile as it was, will never fade.